Welcome to PDAC 2023. My name is Julian DeRosier from the IIF. I'm here joined today by Frederick. Hi Frederick, how are you doing?
Great, thank you. Thanks for having us.
That's great. So Frederick, first, can you introduce yourself and the company you're representing?
You bet. My name is Frederick Kozak. I am the President and CEO of Auxico Canada Resources.
And what does Auxico Resources does?
Well, we are, unlike many companies here in this PDAC, we are one of the few companies in the mineral exploration business that has cash flow. Our cash flow comes from two places right now. We are a reseller of monazite from the DRC in Africa. And secondly, literally this week, we are about to export our first container of tin from Colombia. And we expect to be doing that month after month this year.
Well, this sounds amazing. So first off, cash flow. Does that mean positive cash flow? How does it look like?
Well, certainly when you read our last year's financial statements, our cash flow was not quite positive yet. However, what I will say that as we grow the project's Colombian tin export, and then next, by the end of the year, we also should be processing our own tin out of Brazil to the tune of around 25 tons a month, then we will definitely be positive cash flow. End of the year, we could be $1 million a month of revenue.
Well, this is good to hear for any future investors that is looking right now at your company, trying to know more about it. So, first of all, the tin market, right now the price just backed up, 26,000 US about a ton. It went down a bit to 18,000 for a few days or a few weeks early in the year. How confident are you in the tin market, and what does your Brazilian asset looks like, and how much are you going to produce per year from down there?
Yeah, well, the tin market, as you said, has had a nice recovery. Now, tin, as most of your viewers will know, is one of those critical elements in the world. Tin used for soldering everything, right? And I'll tell you today, I can sell every gram of tin I can get my hands on. So in terms of our Brazilian project, as I said, we're exporting tin. We're purchasing our tin in Colombia from the indigenous people, from the artisanal miners. But in Brazil, we're going to start, we've got a project that's 30 million tons of tailings, old tin tailings.
Yep.
And within the tin tailings, we're about to start a pilot project sometime in Q3. We've got a design of a full-size facility, but our pilot project will process just about 100 tons a day of tin tailings, which should result in about a ton a day, plus or minus, of tin. Looking forward to 2024, when we anticipate taking that from 100 tons a day to a full-scale facility, 2,500 tons a day of tailings, which will give us not just tin, but tantalum, niobium, and the most important one, again, monazite, which is the world's best source of rare earth elements.
Well, this is very good because not only you get tin, but you also get byproducts with it. From 100 ton to 1 ton, that means about concentration of 1%. We see projects all over the world being financed or being worked at 1%, and you're working it in the tailings, so obviously lower costs, lower OPEX, maybe even more IRR on the project, so this is very good to hear. And you talk about coming into a full development scale, 2,500 ton per day in 2024. So that means more construction. How does the construction looks like? Is it started yet, or is it going to be on different upgrades? How are you going to be planning to grow the production?
We are well down the road in the planning phase. So we've got a design for the full-size facility. We've got our pilot facility, which is going to test that design. And because it's tin tailings, it's a very, very simple process. It's literally using water, gravity, and electricity. And the electricity will be both electrostatic and then magnetic separation in the big facility to take out all the good bits. In terms of building a facility, though, again, very straightforward. We need buildings with cover that we can put the equipment inside, and we're just looking for our site that we're going to do it in northwestern Brazil. And we haven't started the process yet, but we do have an objective because of the rainy season, which will begin in October, November this year, getting our major earthworks, it's clearing the dirt off the lot. So everything is being planned in a step-by-step process.
Well, this is great to hear. Surely securing your current investors and also for prospective one, it makes a very, very good possible outcome, growing the business. Now let's go back to the other story that you have. Tell us more about on this side. Where is the deposit located? Are you going to just continue trading on that side, or are you also going to be producing?
Well, on the Colombian side, initially we have a project. We have a project in Colombia, which is a mining, again, it's not really mining. We are in the processing of alluvial materials in Colombia. It's located on the Orinoco River. We're just waiting for an environmental permit from the government of Colombia, which is, their process is slow, and we're still waiting for the permit, but that's fine. And we got into the tin trading business in Colombia because of we have a large focus on the indigenous peoples in the area, and we're working with a local Colombian company who's our joint venture partner now, and we're growing our trading business in Colombia, but working with the indigenous to build them up in their business in the area.
Well, this sounds great, and this one of the most important point of discussion in the PDAC 2023. We were with the IIF in Indaba just a few weeks back. Also, a big talking point, ESG. And when you talk about about working with indigenous people, working in collaboration with them rather than against them, or rather than them for you, how do you manage that? And how does it materialize most specifically on the ground? What are the real actions? Because it's one thing to see it, but it's something else to do it.
Absolutely, yeah. No, excellent question. So first of all, I come from a long history of being involved in the ESG side, even before it was popular. And that is to the point that Auxico has just joined the Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative, which a lot of people will know as EITI, which is a global organization, you know it, global organization for matching up the G side. And from there, that's the first step. Now, specifically, though, on the ground, how does it work? Well, in the DRC, where we are the sales agent for the monazite being shipped out of the country, we've gone to developing our own traceability reporting system, which is literally people bring their monazite to our purchase counter. They fill in their name, the date, the number, the amount they brought, how much they were paid, the chemical composition of it, because we zap it to read what. So we've got a very extensive, although somewhat labor-intensive process. Yeah. What I'm looking at for Colombia right now is there are other systems available where we can use digital sourcing to not be reliant on pieces of paper that might go missing, for example.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that we heard a lot about that, about blockchain traceability and so on. So new technologies being able to really help, as you said, the paperwork, the heavy paperwork, and then also to make sure that this traceability is ensured throughout time. Yes. And I think this is very important as we see the raw critical metals in the AU, in the US also. Traceability is really now part of the game and part of the future.
And I would just add that Auxico last fall added a global expert in ESG to our board of directors, Melissa Sanderson, and she is. I've always been an ESG champion, even 10 years ago when I was working in Africa. But she brings a lot of real strong power to our board and knowledge, and she's been instrumental in helping us move this into, well, it's implementation, but she's a very strong proponent of this and very helpful.
One thing is sure, when we're discussing ESG, having specialized people, qualified people in the board that are actually from an ESG background, that actually know what they're talking about and are able to really make a great addition to the board is something that I recommend for any mining companies, as nowadays it is a must. We're past the point where it should be. I think it's a must. And then, so if we continue digging a bit in the company, you just talked about, for example, management. Can we discuss a bit about share structure, how it looks, and maybe telling us the numbers there?
Sure. Well, basic shares outstanding about right around 74 million, and fully diluted just around 140 million. management and board of directors is on the order of about 18% of the company.
Well, skin in the game is also something investors always enjoy and look forward to. And then, so if we can discuss, maybe we discuss a bit about the positive cash flow or not at the beginning, but what's your cash position and how strong financially are you?
Well, we ended last year with just around, or our last fiscal year with just around $2.5–3 million. You know, we've been spending money, but we'll be looking for a little bit of money this year in terms of moving our projects forward. The good news is my pilot facility in Brazil, for example, is very inexpensive to put it into process. But yeah, you know, we're not in a positive cash flow state, so we're going to be looking for a bit of money here.
Great. And maybe any investors, first of all, I invite you all that have looked at the interview, hear it, go on the website, get on the newsletters, get to know the project a lot more. And what's the website then they can do that? The
website is auxicoresources.com, Auxico, AUXICO, resources.com. And they probably want to do that sooner rather than later, because as I said, in the thousands of companies that are here at PDAC, how many of them have cash flow? Never mind positive cash flow. We're not positive yet, but wait for it. And this is Auxico's year. This is when Auxico goes from not a mining exploration company, but literally in Brazil, a recycler and reprocessor of tin tailings to the point that it's a reclamation company. We're clean and green.
Absolutely.
Supplying the world with clean green minerals for a new technology.
Well, this is good to hear. So, Frederick, I thank you very much for the time. Very interesting conversation, very interesting company, looking at mining differently. I mean, when you look at, for example, the gap of in tin or in copper or in many commodities, a lot of it we think is going to come from pure mining, building new mines. But as you said, reclaiming, recycling, this is another way we're going to be able to fill up that gap, and I think that you guys are actually doing it, so this is very good to hear. So thank you very much for your time. I encourage any viewers to go on their website, get more information, get in touch, and continue following the story.
Thank you very much. Appreciate your time as well.
Thank you.
Bye now.